Gonna get myself settled in this corner here. Very nice. Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a nice simple one. I have been loving doing the kind of vloggy prep style update videos lately. And I think I'm going to try and be doing a lot more of those moving forward. Had a few people actually say to me that they're really enjoying watching that kind of content. So definitely going to be something that I'm going to try and keep up, even as we start to descend into the pit that is late stage natural bodybuilding prep, which, trust me, we're getting there. We're getting into the deep end. But obviously I put out on my story on Instagram kind of what content you guys wanted to see this week, either a show day vlog or, you know, the 3 biggest mistakes that I made as a beginner when I started my own journey in the gym. And the voting was pretty close, so I figured, right, let's just do both. We're going to go to the PCA Naturals tomorrow, which is very exciting, in Kettering, to support Marcus, fellow Team Zach Daniels coaching athlete, and just go and see, really. Like, PCA is the one federation that I'm not currently doing this year, of I'd say, like, the bigger bodybuilding federations here in the UK. Probably wrong in saying that, but yeah, the ones that I'm aware of. And I kind of need to decide if I'm doing it or not. So I'm going to use tomorrow not only to support a friend, also just because I actually like going to shows and watching the kind of standard, but to also see if I'm interested in doing the PCA. Anyway, that's not the reason why we're here talking today. The reason we're here talking today is to go through the 3 biggest mistakes that I made when I first started in the gym. And I'm also going to kind of sort of speak about how to counter those, because nothing beats learned experience, or lived experience, I should say. Nothing beats lived experience. And I'd say that, you know, if you've got anyone close to you who you've seen go through a dramatic transformation, be that in the gym, business, life, whatever it is, if you can lean on that person's knowledge to kind of fast track your own journey, there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing that. And that's kind of why I want to make this video, is so that if there's any lads out there, or ladies, it applies to both, but obviously I'm a lad, you can learn from this. And you might hear something and think, oh fuck, well, I'm doing that now, and Liam's telling me he wasted potentially years of progress doing this thing. Maybe I should stop and do the thing that he says. Just a suggestion. But anyway, we'll kind of get into it. So, the 3 biggest mistakes. Number 1, shit training. Like, just across the board, shit training. Ego lifting. A lot. I used to focus pretty much entirely on the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. And not powerlift. So I wasn't training in a powerlifter's block. I wasn't, you know, training towards these big lifts. I just focused on them and tried to lift heavier and heavier, which I guess is the right approach in theory, but I had no supporting exercises or no plan in place that was going to support growth in those movements. So I basically just was living in a constant state of plateau with my training. And if I go even further back than that, I literally used to do an everything day. So I used to go into the gym, and this is when I was about 13, 14 years old, and I would just do a bit of everything. I think I'd start with bicep curls, maybe do a tricep push down, bit of chest, bit of back, and then I'd go home. I'd never train legs, ever. And that's kind of how my training just progressed over the years. Like, if I look back between the ages of sort of 14 and about 20 to 21, there's 6 years in there where I had no clue what I was doing. And in my defense, you know, we all know that access is a beautiful thing. People have got more access to training literature and kind of advice than ever before through social media. We didn't have that back in the day. But I really wish I'd just gone up to some of the bigger guys in my gym, not been so intimidated by them, and said, hey, please help. Because, I mean, I'd be light years ahead of where I am now. That's undeniable. And even sort of when I was like in my early 20s, I still really didn't have much of an idea. Although I had a half decent physique to show for it, that's mainly just from the fact that I was obsessed. I was obsessed with the process of training. I loved being in the gym. I loved getting a sweat on. I used to do 30-minute ab circuits at the end of like every single session. And I'll show, like, the pictures show. It kind of worked to a certain degree. My ab development did come along. But it just shows what I was focused on as an individual. It shows that I was focused on those glamour muscles and things that I thought would get me girls, things that I thought would get me more attention from people. And it did and it didn't. Like, it didn't to the degree that I thought it would, that's for sure. So yeah, that's mistake number one, is just no training knowledge, a complete lack of any plan around training. And that led to skipping training, that led to overtraining, it led to all sorts of problems. Okay? So the next one, the biggest mistakes when I started training in the gym, number two, just terrible nutrition, complete lack of awareness when it came to nutritional knowledge. And this is only something that I've really countered in the last couple of years, where I've really taken my bodybuilding seriously. I used to never get enough protein, undeniably never get enough protein, didn't count it, didn't count calories, didn't track calories, was drinking at the weekends, was binge eating at the weekends. I used to think that my work ethic, aka my overtraining 6-7 times a week in the gym, would counteract anything, basically. And that's kind of the mindset I had towards it. I wasn't weighing myself, I wasn't doing anything, I was just going strictly off of how I felt and the visual. And once again, that did get me a certain physique. It got me to where I was prior to starting with Zach. So, it wasn't all bad, but yeah, didn't eat enough veg, didn't eat enough fruit. My knowledge of supplementation was really poor as well. I remember when I was 21, me and my gym buddy Pat, we used to go to the gym and then go to Subway straight afterwards. That's the extent of our nutritional knowledge. We used to go to Subway afterwards and get like, a foot-long turkey breast and ham Subway filled with mayonnaise, and then get 2 cookies on the side and things like that. But that's how it was. And takeaways at the weekends, these kinds of things. And even when I was sort of honing in on my nutrition, I did it in the wrong way as well. I went both extremes. So I had an entire summer where for lunch every day I basically just ate tuna salad, and that was not a healthy lifestyle choice. It wasn't sustainable, and obviously it just led to, yes, me losing weight, but most likely losing a lot of muscle in the process. So I had just no clear idea on my nutrition as well. And those two things tandem together, work ethic can obviously only get you so far, and poor training and poor nutrition to back it up, it's a recipe for disaster, really. And I guess finally, the last mistake that I made when I first started the gym is that I had just no clear goal in mind whatsoever. And I always liken this to, traveling to a destination without a GPS. Yes, you might get there, but you're going to take an awfully scenic route to get there. And that's kind of what I've done in the last 10, 12 years, or in my entire time in the gym, is I've taken the most scenic route, got lost many times, tried many different things, all to kind of come to the conclusion that I should have just used a GPS in the first place, put the postcode in, and got to exactly where I wanted to go, which is what's happened in the last 2 years. I used to go to the gym, and I still go to the gym just for the therapy of it and the routine of it, and for literally a love of the game. But there was no mountaintop. It was basically just, well, we just do this because we enjoy it. When I was younger, I used to always change my goals. So every sort of 6 months, maybe even less than that, every 3 months, I'd be, one period of time it would be, I really want to hit a really heavy squat, or I really want to get my squat, bench and my deadlift up. Then it was, I want to run a marathon. Then it was, I want to get better at calisthenics. Like, whatever it was, I wasn't allowing myself enough time to get to those goals, and I'd get frustrated with the lack of progress and move on from it. And that just limited me overall in the long run. And that then ties back into the nutrition and the way that you're training. I would even set goals. So my goal would be, for example, I want to bench 140 kilos, let's say. Never got there. Still working on that one. I would then not put a plan in place to get there. I would basically just bench more and hope that it would happen. So there was no real prioritization of training styles, no prioritization of recovery. And yeah, that's it. That's the three mistakes that I made when I first started training. And now, just very briefly, I'm going to go over how I would now fix those with the gift that is hindsight. So the first thing I've written down on my phone here is I would choose consistency over complexity. And by that, I mean that even when I really started researching into different training styles, I got sucked into the hole that is YouTube, and would just find all these different plans and all these different splits. You know, when I first found out what a split was, it's you've got the bro split, push-pull legs, upper-lower splits, all these different splits, the Arnold split, and I couldn't decide which one was right for me, so I'd just kind of try them all, or I'd meld them together. Choose consistency over complexity. Look for the person in your gym who you want to be most like, have a conversation with them, see what they're doing, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to be doing some sort of compound movement mixed in with accessories and applying progressive overload. So more weight or more reps over time with the volumes scheduled in every sort of 12 weeks or something along those lines. And yeah, I think there's a reason why certain exercises and certain movements are consistent over time with people who had success within the gym and have built a physique that you look at and respect. Likewise with their nutrition. Keep it consistent. Don't make it complex. Like, if you love to cook, lean into that and find healthy, high protein meals that you can prep and you can get that creativity into them. But if you're someone like me who's not that into the actual culinary side of it, pick things that you know are going to work, that are going to be easily digestible for you, that are not going to cost an arm and a leg. You're not going to be wasting food every week. Just consistency. So whether that is chicken and rice, there's a reason why everybody builder eats it. It's because it's so easy to do and so easy to eat. But whatever that looks like for you, that's what you need to prioritize. Second fix, prioritize your recovery. So this can come in many shapes and forms. Stretching, warming up, still things that I'm actually working on myself. I don't do enough of it. Massages, all of that good stuff, like stuff that I still do need to do more of. But most importantly, your rest days, right? So I used to train 7 days a week just because I thought the more I trained, the more progress I would make. That is not true. It's like saying, you know, if you ran a car and you just kept running that car, eventually it's gonna break down. Whereas if you're going for an MOT, you're going for a service, you're going to extend that car's lifespan. That is what taking rest days is. It's basically giving your body the time to address the problems that training is causing. And even like muscle development and muscle growth is recovery in a sense, because you're breaking down muscle fibers to then have them repair themselves stronger than they were before you broke them down. So you need to allow that period of time to actually grow the muscle. And it's something that I really struggled with when I was kind of just transitioning into this more bodybuilder style of training, was getting to rest days and thinking like, well, what the hell do I do today? Usually I'd be in the gym and I feel like I'm being lazy. You're not. You're actually doing the opposite. You're allowing your body to perform at a higher level for a more consistent period of time, which overall is just going to propel you so much further along than you would if you were to train that extra day or that extra 2 days. The second thing that goes along with that, sleep. You need to nail your sleep schedule. So sleep, when you're asleep, that's when your body actually prioritizes recovery the most. It's where you get the most optimal return on that part of the process. And if you're sleeping terribly, your progress is going to be hindered by that. So whatever you need to do, there's obviously a whole range of supplements that you can look into. I've tried some. I've been on the supplements. I've been off the supplements, things like ashwagandha and magnesium glycinate. I've seen results from them. And then when I've been off of them, I've also seen results from them. I think the most important thing is actually just getting yourself into a good routine with sleep. Like having a wind down process. I've spoken about this before, but for me, that's a decaf coffee in bed with some YouTube videos because they make me fall asleep. That's our wind down process, isn't it? Decaf coffee bed. Decaf bed is our wind down process, isn't it? Izzy's shaking her head, she's agreeing. We look at, one looks at the other and says decaf bed, and then the other repeats decaf bed, and that is what we do. And usually, would you say we're asleep like within the hour? Would you say we're asleep within the hour from saying decaf bed?
Within the hour.
Yeah, within the hour. But that's just going to set you up for success. And the more, once again, consistent you can be with that over time, your sleep improves, your recovery improves, your sessions improve. It all compounds, okay, to build a bigger picture overall that leads to success. The last point, and it's probably up there with the most important ones, don't compare yourself to others. Only use them as a source of inspiration. So this is where I think social media is brilliant for certain people, and I think we need a lot more people on social media who preach this message. I used to compare myself a lot to male influencers in the space that I thought I was pretty good in, you know, and I would always wonder, well, I'm doing more than these guys, or if not, you know, the same as these guys, if not more. Maybe they're just genetically superior to me, and maybe that is the case, but it wasn't until I actually really just started focusing on my own journey, my own needs, what I can do better as a bodybuilder or as an athlete in the gym, that I really saw the progress that actually started to see me catch up to the standard that they were at, you know. And I'm not saying that I'm anywhere near those guys, but I'm a lot closer than I used to be. And I distinctively remember before starting my own kind of journey with Zach and things, and really leaning into the bodybuilder lifestyle, which is how I like to train. It's my method. I'd try and pose, and I'd just be so far off from a muscularity standpoint that I'd be like, how do I not look like these guys? I train so hard. I do all these things right. And the reality is, my net had holes in it, you know, and the holes were lack of recovery, overtraining, no clear plan in place, lack of nutritional knowledge, lack of planning, lack of consistency. So I'm trying to, you know, catch this haul of fish that is a great physique. Such a strange analogy. I don't know why I've gone down this route. And they're all slipping through the holes. And I'm pulling out of the water and thinking, well, why do I look like the way that I look and not like these guys? And it's because I just created a world of excuses for myself. But yeah, that's going to kind of wrap it up. There's the obvious within this, the statement, you know, I suppose, what's the fastest way to counter these things happening to you and to kind of get ahead of the game? Get a coach. Like, it is. I never believed that it would work for me until I committed, and now 2 years later, I mean, I'll show my side by side of what I looked like at the start to how I look now in the, you know, the build up to my first competitive season. And that might not be your goal. It might not be to go from this to this, but it's undeniable the progress that has been made by fine-tuning those processes, and it's led to this result. Okay, and that's a result that I am overwhelmingly proud of and will continue to be proud of. But yeah, the other option is obviously just follow along someone like me. It might not be me, but it might be someone else who you have on your social media who you find inspiration from. Look more detailed, or in more detail, into what they're doing, their routines they're putting in place. Follow the trajectory, follow the plan that they're following, and you might get similar results. You will never get the same results and you would always do better by having someone in your corner to help you with that from an accountability standpoint and all the other benefits of having a coach. But even just following a structured plan with your nutrition and your training and your recovery is going to see you get a lot further than just going it alone, like I say, without that GPS. That's going to wrap up today's video. A bit of a different one, I suppose, a bit more educational, a bit more TED talky. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be vlogging the PCA Naturals tomorrow, a bit kind of back to our like standard scheduled content, let's call it. So yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We've got ambitious goals with YouTube. Like the video if you did. Comment down below anything that you think I didn't cover, or you think that I covered poorly or well. It's good to just have a narrative on these things, bit of a back and forth. Other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the PCA Naturals.